I'll just go ahead and ask. Okay, so Kellin, you've interviewed with Bryan how many times now?
0. I don't even know who that is.
I don't even know who the fuck BryanStars is, but
I think at least 3 times, as I can recall. I know there was 1, 2, yeah, 3. I'd say, well, 4 if you include me crashing. Well, 5 if you include me crashing Pierceville and Memphis Mayfire's interviews.
From an outsider looking in on this movie that doesn't know anything about this music genre, music scene, and BryanStars, can you kind of describe, in your own words, what BryanStars is? What is BryanStars? Who is BryanStars, and what do you get from after watching a video from BryanStars, I guess?
He's a loser. I'm just kidding. BryanStars is, I don't know, man. He's just a real dude. We've done a lot of interviews where people ask just stupid questions, and I feel like Bryan's not afraid to ask anything, and he makes bands kind of open up and be who they really are without being like afraid, I guess.
Any kind of questions that he's asked you that you're like, oh wow, it kind of made you...
No, I'm not scared of anything. He hit me in the face with a Mountain Dew box today.
Hey, Kellin Quinn, I heard you like Mountain Dew.
So do you remember the first time that Bryan approached you on doing the first interview? Can you kind of describe that?
First time Bryan approached me on doing an interview. I don't remember the venue we were playing, but I remember doing it in the parking lot with Justin. That was the first time. Yeah, it was fun. It was a great time. And I know Justin was really uncomfortable because Justin tries to be really cool, but I was just totally fine with it. And I was like, Justin, don't be so cool. And he was like, okay, I won't. And then I was like, you suck, Justin. And Justin's like, you suck. And then we fought each other on that live interview. And Bryan's like, guys, please don't fight. And then we're like, okay, yeah, for real. And then Bryan beat us both up. And then we both felt real dumb about ourselves.
How would you describe Bryan?
He's a handsome man. He is a very wealthy man. He donates a lot of his money to organizations and charities, so he doesn't really keep a lot of it. He likes to live homeless, but he actually has a lot of money. He took me on a ride one time to the mall in his G-Wagon. He said, this is my shit. And I said, for real? And he goes, no, I'm kidding, I stole this. And I was like, are you kidding? He goes, no, I'm being for real. Like, this is how I live my life. And I was like, damn, dude, you're really free. He goes, I am free. And then he said, do you want a Frosty at Wendy's? And I said, absolutely. And that's how he and I kind of became like friends and got to know each other a lot, you know.
So is that kind of explain why he always wears blue, because he's homeless?
No, Bryan doesn't wear blue because he's homeless. He wears blue because his eyes are like the sky, and he likes to really show them off. And he has blonde hair, so he likes to, you know, accentuate his special features.
Have you watched other interviews he's done other than your own?
Yes.
Any interviews you liked personally? And
I
why?
remember there was a video I watched in particular where I kind of stuck up for Bryan, I think, on Twitter one time. I won't get into a bunch of details, but I will say that Bryan is one of those guys that, like I said, is someone that is real and tries to bring out the best in the people he interviews. And there's one video interview in particular where somebody was being kind of lame, and I kind of called them out for that, and I remember that in particular. So.
That was very nice of you. Would you hang out with Bryan outside of the concert venue? Would you go have a beer with him?
Would I hang out with Bryan outside the concert venue? No, absolutely not. Why? Because Bryan is terrifying to take out in public. He's absolutely terrifying, and he makes you do things that you would never want to do, such as do backflips off of, you know, bridges into cold river water. And I've had to do that on many occasions with Bryan, and it's cold and terrifying and scary. He's like, you won't do it because you're Kellin from Sleeping with Sirens. And I was like, no, I won't do it because it's cold and terrifying. Then somehow he makes you do those things, and that's why I want to hang out with him in public. But in the concert setting, he's completely normal. It's not terrifying at all.
Why do you support Bryan?
I support Bryan because I think that he connects with his fan base on a deeper level than just doing videos online. You know, I think a lot of people relate to Bryan because he, I guess, speaks for like a generation of people who can't really say or ask the questions that a lot of them want to say, and he does all that. So I think that's why it makes him special.
So you called Bryan a friend. Why would you call Bryan a friend?
He's bailed me out of jail a lot.
Why do you think fans like BryanStars so much?
He's handsome. Fans love BryanStars because he's a handsome man. That's it. Period. He's just handsome.
And then why do you think kids relate to him?
Kids relate to Bryan because he, again, I think just asks the questions a lot of people want to know the answers to. It's like the stuff that you can't get anywhere else. You get it at BryanStars. It's like, what's your porno name? You can't get that anywhere else. It's just BryanStars, and you're going to get it there. Or, you know, what kind of underwear do you wear when you're going out on a first date? You know, it's like you got to pick a special pair of underwear to go on your first date. You can't just wear just regular gray Hanes briefs. You got to wear something silky. You know, something to get the party started. And Bryan asks his questions, and people want to know the answer.
2 more questions. Would you let your kids watch BryanStars?
Absolutely not. No. Never let my kids watch Bryan. I wouldn't even let my kids come to my own concert. There's no way in hell I would let them watch BryanStars interviews. I'll never let them watch the interviews I've done with Bryan. They'll be like, Dad, is that you? And I'll say, no. It's an imposter, someone that looks like me, and they don't even look as good as me in real life.
And then last question, what do you hope for Bryan in the future?
I don't know, that maybe he buys a shirt that's red or green. Let's move away from the blue. Let's accentuate some other features other than your blue heavenly eyes. Let's do red to feature your nice blushing cheeks, or maybe like a green to, you know, show your nice smile. I don't know. Just that he continues in the success he has on his interviews, and, you know, that he continues to just keep doing what he does.